In this video, we're gonna be going over how this Medicare agent has been able to grow her business as a single agent, no admin, no additional agents or anything, to over 20K per month in first year commissions. So stay tuned, it's gonna be interesting. Alyssa here has learned marketing from me and sales from Chase. So we're gonna get into it and ask her a lot of questions about how she started, what she's done to build those skills, implement and grow, and get to where she is right now. So Alyssa, why don't we just start off, give us a little bit of background about how'd you even get into the insurance world to begin with? And then I know you didn't start in Medicare, so how did that transition into you getting into Medicare?
Yeah, probably how a lot of people, I think, got into their second win or their second career was COVID. I used to work on cruise ships.
Okay.
As an acupuncturist, and cruising stopped, so I wanted something in the sales arena, so I just threw a bunch of ads on LinkedIn and clicked on one and landed on insurance.
Okay. So that was what, 2020?
2020, yeah, not Medicare. I started in life insurance, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you were on LinkedIn looking around. Now, was that an ad that was advertising for a job, or was it advertising for one of those MLM type of things?
It was the work from home, make 10,000 a week, or it was a little bit of a unicorn.
Yeah.
So, naturally I clicked on it, and I understood. I had listened I'd done a lot of sales training and things like that to be on the ship, but I understood that I needed to spend to make. So.
Okay, so started in life insurance. How long did you do that before transitioning to Medicare?
I did that for, I want to say 3-4 years, maybe.
Okay.
No, 3 years. 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And were you mostly selling life? Did you ever do annuities over there? Anything besides
I did,
life?
yeah. We delve into, just a tiny bit of critical illness, and yeah, I touched a little bit of annuities, but not intentionally. Yeah.
Was it mostly final expense?
Final expense, mortgage protection, yeah.
Okay. So if I remember right, you were not doing bad at life insurance, right? Was it exhausting? Chargebacks, things like that?
Chargebacks, yeah. It just didn't feel sustainable. So buying leads, calling leads, selling, and then doing it all over again from scratch.
Yeah. Just starting every month over and over at square
Every
one,
week.
basically. Every week. Yeah.
Every week.
Got you. Okay, so then what caused you to look into and or decide Medicare is the path that I want to go down?
Number one, it was the people. I love the 65 plus. And it was from cruising, because a lot of people that cruise, or they're a bit older. The conversation, I get to know my people, my market, and that's what I wanted was just more of a connection. Every year I'm telling them happy birthday, 4th of July. You don't get that mortgage protection. At least it's not set up that way. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So really it was more so the people that kind of brought you to it.
Firstly, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I would say the renewals.
Okay. Did you have any mentors that told you Medicare is the right way, or you were just I'd rather work with different people than what I'm working?
No, no one said it was the right way or even flashed any kind of lifestyle. It was, this is what I do to help people, and this is how I do it, and it just seemed a whole lot less salesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting too, because I think a lot of people coming from the life world, they don't see Medicare as that enticing of an opportunity because they're so used to making $700 to $1,500 on a sale. But the funny thing is, with the combination of his sales process and then my marketing, you're probably making as much in first year commission, if not more,
right,
than when you were selling final expense or mortgage protection.
Yeah.
And then you get a good chunk of that every single year in those renewals as well.
Exactly.
So I think that brings us to when we first met.
Mm-hmm.
So what was that like for you? Tell me about when you first started learning the marketing, the webinar, kind of go through that process and how that was initially not having any of the sales stuff from Chase.
I found you on YouTube first about generating your own leads, and that whole sustainable model was what really got me hooked on. All right, I can do this and stop paying somebody else to, and it's my face on the webinar and things like that. But I also saw that it was something I felt like I was the only difference between me and the people you were interviewing was time.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in the right boat, like for once. So
Well, now that's coming full circle
yeah,
because we're interviewing you.
it is. It's awesome.
That's-
Duh.
So how long did it take you? I mean, I think a lot of people that watch are always wondering, like, what is it that Justin teaches and how long does it take and all that stuff. So I think that they would appreciate some real answers because truthfully, sometimes like to get to where you're at right now, it does take time. It takes a lot of like just optimizing on the marketing side and then learning that, optimizing on the sales side. So let's just kind of start with the basics. Like how long did it take you from learning what we were teaching you to implement, like getting a webinar live, all that type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend the way I did it. I was mentally exhausted. I was checked out from life insurance, so like I wasn't selling.
Yeah.
So, so needless to say, like I had nothing but time, and money was kind of going down to make any kind of move. So I knew if I was going to join the program, number one, I needed to do it now, and number two, I needed to do it fast.
Yeah.
A good like timeline for me. I mean, I finished the curriculum, got everything set up in about 2.5 weeks, but to actually start selling on my leads, I mean, it took a good 2 months altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then off the bat, like once your webinar was live, about how many leads would you say you were generating initially?
40. Initially. So I can remember like posting on our little community. I got my first lead, like subscribe to me. And I would say it was about 12 a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said you scaled that to 40 a week?
Yes. Yeah.
How long did that take you?
Probably another 3 months.
And what would you say was the biggest thing stopping you? Was it the marketing or you needed to make money from the ones you were spending in order
Making
to
the money. Yeah, because I hadn't quite
hadn't quite learned the sales process from Chase yet. Yeah.
Your knight in shining armor.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, so we're generating 12 a week starting off. Like how many sales was that yielding you?
Yeah, I mean it's still a third will, a third won't, a third might, and so it was the third wasn't turning 65 for another 4 months, or and then the others, maybe we're going to continue to work, and then it was the ones that were ready, some maybe already on Medicare, so I missed that new to Medicare commission, and then some, and sign them up in 2 weeks. So that is the thing. Like what I learned from Medicare is you gotta pack your pipeline. Like it's got to be, because they're not making decisions. Yeah, you do get the slackers that trickle in that need it the next month, but most just aren't that ready yet.
Yep. And so then initially, most of the sales you were making were a Med Sup, Med Advantage, but almost no attachment.
Right.
Okay.
No attachment.
No, not almost no attachment. No attachment.
Correct.
Just
Right.
core products.
Only because I don't know why. I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know. Well, number one, like I'm 36. Like I didn't know Medicare. I didn't know that there was exposures. I was still learning the product very much so in the very beginning.
Yeah. So I think this is the perfect time to bring in Chase, which has been such like a big game changer in why Chase and I came together to create the coach's office, or for me to come help him in the coach's office, is because we saw people like you and more than people than just you that were able to create a webinar and get appointments and leads and have sales. But when you are only selling and making a $300 or $600, you kind of have to think like, okay, if I just keep doing this for 1 or 2 or 3 more years, then it's going to really start building up. But then the paradigm shifts when you can learn how to instead attach 3 policies and make $1,200 or $1,500 in first year commission. Then you can scale faster, you can generate more leads faster, and instead of breaking even in year 1 and having renewals be gravy, you 3 to 5x your money in year 1, and then renewals are gravy as well too. So Chase, if you want to kind of take it over here on the sales process, and any when did you guys first get connected?
It was actually a year ago today. A year ago, like yesterday, in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
I did a presentation, and I'll never forget Alyssa, because one thing about Alyssa, and I'm very fortunate, she has done what we haven't really named it, Medicare U. Alyssa has moved into our Tennessee office. I sit next to Alyssa almost every day right now. And just like day 1 to day 365, Alyssa is extremely coachable, always asks questions, and always implementing, taking action more than anything. And that's one of the first things I look for when training people is I believe we have an incredible sales process and an incredible training process, but implementing it in a systematic way and taking action, I believe is what sets Alyssa apart more than ever. Alyssa, for example, this week, you just wrote, it's Wednesday right now. How much first year commission have you generated this week? I've seen some of your production. I mean, you're in the multiple thousands this week already, right?
Yeah, I've actually got an appointment in an hour.
Yeah, so we got to get moving.
And it's just, I mean, I want to say it's going to be this week. It's going to be over 2,000 by the time I'm done with the week, because I got somebody on Saturday when I get back. So.
Well, and this is the week you're in Destin too.
Yeah.
That's not even a full week for you.
Yeah. It's the little things, honestly. I mean, it's not a big secret that there's critical illness plans, that there's, short-term home health care plans. It's not like you invented something. Like, those products are there for a reason. So it's the execution part where I felt like I was not getting it. And I've heard people like Galen say any monkey can sell Medicare. I'm like, hold on. I don't want to be just a monkey. Like, I need to, fully protect these people. So it's a Medicare plus, it's plus something now, and whether it be just dental or the rest of the products. If I just sell a Medicare policy, I feel like it's naked or something.
Yeah. I have a question off that real quick. So 2 things we talk a lot about, first year commission and ROAS. And I'm a little bit different. So I met Justin about 2 or 3 years ago, and we were generating $1,200, $1,500 per appointment. And I just didn't have enough people to talk to. So when I met Justin, it kind of solved a different gap for me. It solved the lead flow gap. You, on the other hand, you had lead flow. You knew how to create lead flow, but you weren't monetizing them correctly. So, I mean, I guess my question is how has the $1,200 first year commission per client, the $1,500 first year commission per client, how has that influenced your business, and what does it allow you to do now that you couldn't do before when you weren't monetizing those?
Yeah, you and I just had this conversation, and I'm happy that there is a system, because my KPIs with my campaigns, they're not quite ready to throw more money in. So instead of just sitting, he said, well, why don't you dial your people before the webinar starts? And it was that little thing that now I got 3 or 4 more auto books just on doing that. And the leads that attended are a whole lot warmer. So it's the little things like that. If you don't have a coach, that makes sense, but no one was going to tell me that. And sometimes we just don't think further than our nose.
Yeah.
So because I have something to follow, and then I have something in front of me that I need to optimize, and then I have a coach, it's very seamless.
Yeah.
Very happy with it.
And I always say, when you want to do something you've never done before, you don't ask how, you ask who. And I think that's what you do so well, is you found one of the best marketers, in my opinion. And I think I'm one of the best sales trainers when it comes to Medicare in the country. And I think when you combine our 2 forces, it leads to something really cool. I mean, you're doing $20K a month right now, which is insanity as a solo agent.
Yeah, and to answer your question, sorry, I got off of that. I put it on a card. My dad always said, look, Alyssa, you got a credit card for a reason. You do what you need to do. And so I put it on a card, and that card was paid off by a lot of the ancillary that I sold. And I lean on Chase because I need to stay in my lane and sell. I don't need to be worrying about people's retirement. So I lean on Chase a lot for any kind of ideas that my clients that they need help with and guidance with on the retirement side, which Chase has been really helpful with that. And we've worked together on some big cases, and it's freed up my credit card so I can go and optimize, but when it's ready, right? When the chart says so. When the numbers say so.
Well, I want to hit on that real quick. So that story Alyssa's referring to. So one little nugget in this video that we really teach people is how to take their Medicare leads and monetize them with retirement appointments. So I call it invisible revenue. You're not spending anything more for it, but you're creating this invisible stream of revenue from your revenue clients. So Alyssa, we taught Alyssa how to ask the retirement question. She pulled out a $600,000 annuity, set it for me. Long story short, Alyssa got a $15,000 check for setting an appointment. So just that little nugget paid for all of your consultation, your coaching, getting you to the point where you're at now, where you could really run loose, free, and reinvest a heck of a lot more. There's one thing that stuck out that you said to me, or kind of I said to you, is 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'm like, man, in my head, I'm like, I'm seeing her on the production reports a lot more. I didn't want to say anything yet. I thought maybe I was a little biased and recognize and just maybe overthinking it. But 2 weeks went by. I'm like, okay, I definitely am. And I said to you, Alyssa, I said, am I out of my mind, or is your production just really taking a big jump? And one thing you said to me is, it's the osmosis. Like, you don't have any other choice when you're around people doing it at a high level. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I just playing college sports. I am used to a team environment, so catching, like I said, the unicorn, like the work from home, and everybody wants to do it. And in the very beginning, it was that, but I've just been missing out on, like, all what is it? The tide brings all ships.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
There you go. And it's shown in my production. Like, I don't want to be the weakest link in the office. Like, my ass is getting on the phone. Yeah. Like, you guys can see my computer if I'm like on YouTube or messing around somewhere. True. Like, we can. It's like you're in a glass building, and it shows your true self. Yeah. And so that would be. I wish I did it a whole lot earlier. It's now wanted me to get a team around me. So recruiting was always, for me, really fearful. I just kind of crashed and burned way too many times in life insurance because it's downline. It's, you do this, you do that. But I'm ready to now work. I'm looking at it from a different point of view. I want to work with people because I want to hire to my weaknesses. I don't want to duplicate myself. Like, you have a team that you guys just like fit like a freaking puzzle piece, and it's weird, but it's so cool and so attractive. And I mean, you yourself are probably unrecognizable from the chase last year, and and that's what I want to be, is just unrecognizable in a year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can underestimate what can happen in a year, and I think you're a testament to that as well. I mean, where I've seen your growth go in a year is crazy, and that's what I love about the coach's office that we've designed, Justin. Is it's designed for a brand new agent or an agency or FMO doing multiple millions per year. And we have touch points for everybody to grow. I mean, right now, a year ago from now, I don't know, you're probably doing $2,000, $3,000, maybe $4,000 a month. Now you're doing $20,000 a month. Like I told you the other day, I said, Alyssa, you are ready to hire. You are ready to duplicate yourself. And that's going to be really cool to watch you go to the point from producer to leader and start to scale. And that's what I love about what we've done. I think we've really, our 3 core pillars, which I'll take partial credit. You can take majority, you take 75% of credit. All right. Optimize, amplify, scale. You really have knocked out pillar 1 and 2 now, and you're really starting to go to pillar 3, which is super exciting for me.
Yeah. No, me too.
Okay, so let's kind of break down. I know we talked about the $20K a month, but let's just break it down so people can see, like, how does a Medicare agent do $20K a month? What does that look like, et cetera? So let's start with the ads, because for anybody that's not running ads or whatever, you do have to invest money to get people to become leads, appointments, all that stuff. So on a $20K a month, like, how much are you spending in ads?
$3,000, right at that
$3,000.
mark.
Okay.
Not right off the bat, but yeah.
And then that yields how many new clients that you're bringing in?
So I'll get auto books of about 4 to 6, and then I'll dial those leads and I'll pull out another 3. And it's the same, like, for me, a third will, a third won't kind of thing. Then book those appointments and then sell those appointments. I'm getting anywhere between 40 to 50 leads now, probably 60 now because I've increased my ad spend in the last couple of weeks. So.
And that turns into about how many new clients per month?
Oh, new clients a month.
It's about a third, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I think you were saying earlier, like 17, 18, something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the lower end about 12. The revenue is not coming from the people. It's coming from like their
100%.
trail of policies.
Well, and that's why I want to break it down. I want people to see that, like, you're adding 12, 15, or 20 people a month. If you don't have the sales system, then that's going to be what, like, $6,000.
And it's 12 in my head, but like, remember, like, these people are coming by twos.
Yeah.
So, or they have a sister or brother or whatever. So I'm saying one because I'm calculating it off of one lead.
An appointment.
So,
And I think this part is extremely important. So, like a year ago, for example, you're creating $300, maybe $400 per client first year commission. Now you're doing $1,200 to $1,500 first year commission per client. And people do not understand the difference between what can happen with those two. You can reinvest so much more aggressively. You can start hiring now, but you're doing so much more revenue with the same amount of work that someone else is doing. It's like somebody out there is doing 12 to 15 new cases a week, and they're making, what is that, roughly $5,000 to $6,000. You're doing 12 to 15 cases a week, and you're making $15,000 to $20,000. A month, excuse me. And that is just so significant to growth. I mean, that's what's allowed us to scale to a $6 to $7 million a year agency. Is just we can teach all of our agents how to do that, and just it's like rocket fuel. It's insanity.
Yeah,
It's been awesome to watch you do it.
Well, and that's why I wanted to like bring this up, because like that's what gets me pumped about. Like I have so much conviction for what we're doing, because when you have the ability to make that much in first year commission, and again, you're doing it by solving problems for people. You're closing gaps that aren't closed with just selling a core Medicare policy, Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement. So there's a win-win to both. But having that ability to generate a return like that just puts you in a place of control. And so generating 12, 15, 17 new people to your book every month, but yet that being 20K, 22K, 23K in first year commission, like you now have a choice, right? Like 12 new people a month, 15, 17 new people a month, you're probably not as maxed out as you could be.
No.
You probably, as an individual agent, could 1.5 that or 2x that to where you're adding 30 or 35 if you want to. But you're also now making enough money where you're like, hey, if I want to scale, I could just hire somebody and just kind of stay at like, I'm going to add 12, 15, 17 new people to the business's book myself. Now I can go and bring on an LOA agent and they're going to add to your book. But because you have the money to do that, you have the money that you can, in the infrastructure, you have the leads to give them, you have the different comp structures, however you want to structure that, to allow them to make a great living as well too. It's just not possible when you're only selling one core product and you're spending, if you were spending 3,000 and making 5, like you'd be in that grind until those renewals build up for 3 or 4 years. So your growth trajectory went from, it's going to take me 10 years, 15 years to hit my goal, to like, well, I don't know what your goal is, but it's probably shortened to like, I'm going to hit that goal in 2 or 3 years.
Well, I mean, which
10
is
figures.
Yeah, which is why I moved to his backyard, because I was like, let's do this a whole lot faster.
Yeah.
Well, talk about that last piece real quick. So doing it a whole lot faster, like we're talking about, you're ready to start hiring. How much more confidence do you have hiring, being around people that have already done it and having that process at your fingertips?
Yeah, I'm 1,000% more confident. I realize when I go home, I need to get my own office. To work from home is, one or 2 times a week, work your Saturday from home. I like to work my Friday from home because my spouse is actually off as well. So I'm checking out at 4:30, 5. Not to say I don't run late appointments, but I do from home. But the rest of my day, I wasn't, as much as I had a career, I wasn't treating it like one. And like I was joking myself, 100%. And so working with Chase and at a place of business with an actual business going, with people that have, their operations, their daily thing. Like, I'm just learning so much from your admin as far as like what her duties are. And so when this comes in, what do you do? And it's 1,000% more confident.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I've always had an office outside of my house, because I knew that like whatever business I was doing, whether it was starting the agency or insurance advertising masters or what, if I was at home, I was subject to my environment. I did not create the environment. And so even when it was just me, and even to this day with 20 employees, oftentimes I'm the only one at my office because they're all remote. But
90%, 95.
Yeah, but still, like having those things set up is now going to give you so much more direction when you hire your first person. It's like, this is what I did to succeed. This is what you need to do to succeed. And then they actually have the rails to operate in order to have success. So you can still give them freedom, but you give them like rails to operate in, so they're not just wandering around willy-nilly doing whatever. So I think this has been great. I hope the audience has got a ton out of this. Let's just kind of wrap it up with like, where do you see yourself going from here? Now that you've got to this place, you've got some options, like what does the next 12 months look like for you?
Where I'm on the second, the optimize, and then scale. So for me, just me sending those 3 text messages. I sent 3 text messages yesterday, like, hey, when I come home, like, or if I need to, start hiring, and I want to hire bilingual. I feel like there's a lot of Spanish speakers I look like I should speak Spanish, but I don't. But there's so much. That's like the another market right there that I feel like there's just not enough guidance there in education. So like that's my route. That's where I want to go. So I'm hiring if you're watching this. And just sending those messages like felt like like I'm like even just sending the message like I'm closer because I'm putting it in action and I'm telling people about it. So in the next year, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish out my residency, my self-made residency with Chase, and hearing his conversations with his team, like I still have so much to learn. And then so hiring and then just duplicating. I mean, just keep working the system. Like it's a system and it's proven, thank God, like you have done so much work. and there's even some times where, I kind of run into you and you're like, well, so you're talking about in a kind of an unproven way. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I got my proven way still working. Like it gives you so much like creativity to just to know that you can be creative like within a proven system. That's just the coolest thing. So just being a part of this, I really thank you both. I think my life will be unrecognizable in a year. It'll still be Alyssa, but just on a way different scale.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on here, and it's been a pleasure working with you. And
Right on.
Thank you, girl. You're the best.
Awesome. So it actually is the perfect place to wrap this up because it sounds like you're at that point where you want to go from agent to agency and you have all the tools with the coach's office to get you there. But for those of you watching, I did just make a video called Agent to Agency and the 5 steps that will take you from being in this place, optimized, ready to go, to scale. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to go ahead and link it right here so you can look at what that looks like for you. Thank you guys for hopping on. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you on the next one.